Nice to see so many people here. My name is Peter Ingle. I'm the VP of Sales for Panopto. We're an interactive video platform, a searchable video library. Maybe some of you have heard of us, and if not, hopefully we can talk to you more about what we do at our stand later on in the day. I'm going to be looking today at the importance of a robust hybrid training strategy, particularly in today's ever-changing workplace, and some of the steps you can use to make it a success. We should be 15-20 minutes on the presentation, and if anybody has any questions at the end, that'd be great. I'd love to get your take on some of the things I'm talking about. The way we work and learn really has changed, probably forever. I don't think we're going to go back to the way it was before the COVID times of March 2020. Organizations have discovered the strategic possibilities of a distributed workforce. And today, at least in the US, 77% of the jobs are fully remote or hybrid capable. And I would say that is probably similar in the UK and the rest of Europe as well. What's more, in this distributed environment, employees have come to expect flexibility and choice in how they communicate and collaborate in the workplace. Even as companies around the world return to physical offices and facilities, supporting both in-person and remote employees is going to be essential in the competitive business environment that we're working in. So, in summary, hybrid is here to stay, and we need to be aware and take action as a result of that. An ad hoc hybrid approach to training, however, is not necessarily working. The tools and processes that we used at the beginning of the COVID period were fine at the time, but they're not going to be okay for the longer term hybrid business landscape. Think about yesterday, your first meeting yesterday morning. I'm actually struggling to even think what the meeting is, but do you recall the key takeaways and actions and points of view? I mean, hands up, your first meeting yesterday, do you remember what went on through that meeting? Very good. A lot of people can, but a lot of people can't. And whether you're holding an internal training in person or over a video conference, employees forget close to half of what they learn literally 30 minutes after the session. A week later, they've forgotten 65% of it. Holding a one-off Zoom meeting is like sending an email that disappears the moment after it's read. Sorry, I should have been keeping up with the slides there. Apologies for that. So this is why it's important to establish a robust hybrid training strategy. It's essential for your learners and your organizations. And I wanted to talk today about 5 things you should consider for building a really robust hybrid training strategy. Hopefully it's helpful. So a lot of this maybe goes without saying, but it's worth, I think, covering it. Companies are increasingly looking into L&D teams to solve strategic business problems. But for this to work, your training needs to be aligned with the business objectives. So the first step is to developing a robust L&D strategy is to understand your corporate strategy. What are the organizational KPIs, or OKRs, as a lot of people are now using the term? What metrics are business units held accountable for? And most importantly, what does it look like for your specific organization? Once training programs are consistent with business goals and hybrid working trends, then you'll be set up for success. How we learn and consume information has also changed. It's important to understand the challenges your employees face when training and learning. Employees increasingly want flexibility and choice, and they expect a consistent experience with tools and processes that they need to succeed, and it's important to get the balance right. Employees are more engaged, motivated, and productive when they can drive their own training agenda. And I think that's particularly true for the younger workforce. Working when, where, and how they are most effective. So really allowing them flexibility and choice in how they consume content, how they learn, will give better results for the organizations that you're working for. You've also got to realize that flexibility and choice are paramount to evolving models of work. But at a tactical level, employees need consistent, reliable tools and processes to thrive in a hybrid environment. I mean, everybody's using video more than they used to. I mean, more than before the COVID times. I mean, it goes without saying that we're all using video a lot more than we did before COVID. I was going to ask a show of hands, but I mean, it has to be that everybody's using Zoom and Teams and WebEx and Google Hangouts and all these types of tools for both meeting and collaboration and training. But where does all the information go that happens during those sessions? If you're not recording those trainings or meetings, that information, while some of it stays in your head, a lot of it is almost immediately gone. And that's why a video learning library is important for a hybrid training strategy. According to the 70-20-10 model of learning, the most effective way to learn is to actually do. In a hybrid environment, social and experiential learning becomes even more important. And video is a great way to encourage informal knowledge exchanges like micro-learning and peer-to-peer learning. So recording these informal learning moments can also help to share with team members that missed out, or simply just to review the content that was shared at the time. And that's a really important part. I suppose a common theme in the presentation today, it's great to share knowledge, but the problem is that most people aren't able to retain that knowledge as well as we would like, and therefore it needs to be stored somewhere for future reference when learning at the moment of need is really important. So the fifth step, and lastly, is to measure your hybrid strategy, your hybrid training strategy. I mean, measuring the impact of L&D is always challenging. And I was looking at a presentation earlier on today about analytics and measuring the impact of training. And it is very easy to ask questions like, did you enjoy the training? Were you engaged during the training? But it's difficult to get more meaningful return on investment or impact type analytics. And I'm not saying that video or what we're doing has all the answers, but it's definitely a very important thing to consider. And if you do record your training, it does allow you to get more analytics in terms of the impact of the training. So you can track engagement, you can identify viewer trends, you can discover useful or challenging material to revise and follow the progress of individual learners. For our platform, learners can ask questions within the recording so that you can have analytics on how many questions have been asked, which is actually quite key when you're offering content to viewers or to employees. You want it to be interactive as possible. I mean, establishing training metrics can feel like a big task, but in the ever-evolving hybrid environment, incremental innovation is an effective way to set the goals that achieve strong results. So I definitely recommend coming up with some solution to measure the impact of whatever hybrid training strategy you employ. So throughout this seminar so far, I've mentioned how video can help build on your hybrid training strategy. So let's dig a little deeper into video learning. For some of you who don't know, Panopto has established itself or came out of a university, Carnegie Mellon University in the US. So we started our life as a business selling to universities. It's a big part of our business to this day, although working with companies and L&D departments is becoming a bigger part now. A 2021 study conducted by the American Educational Research Association found that students with access to video learning outperformed those who only attended in-person learning. So researchers looked at more than 100 studies, and including 8,000 students, college students, and found that students that had access to the recorded lectures were not only able to control the pace and flexibility of their learning, but as a result achieved better grades and better learning outcomes. So that can translate into the corporate world. Essentially, the L&D departments of organizations in many ways have similar objectives to the universities. They want to have good learning outcomes, and the research has shown that using video in the university sector space has developed better learning outcomes, so therefore it can translate into your roles as well. It doesn't just make intuitive sense. Research has repeatedly proven that video learning simply works. Obviously I am biased because I work for a video company, but there you go. So what do we do? What does Panopto do? Panopto is an all-in-one video platform that enables easy creation and sharing of interactive video content with clear and measurable outcomes. We enable training teams to easily create, edit, curate, and share videos immediately with our online screen recorder and web-based editor. We help you capture training once and ensure everyone receives the same information without situational variances. We can help you drive engagement through compelling video experiences with our interactive native and third-party integrations, and we can help you boost employee productivity by automating the tedious parts of video creation and management, and equip all employees with access to video content at the speed of need. Finally, we provide you, the training leaders, with detailed engagement reports and comprehensive viewing behavioral insights for all videos in your library, and allow you to optimize your training and prove its ROI. So Panopto can transform your training into one integrated, learner-centric ecosystem. Gone are the days when you forget to hit Zoom and have employees scroll through 60 minutes of LMS tags in order to find that one moment of content that they need. Panopto is a central hub that integrates your video conferences, your recordings, with your LMS automatically, and preserving them into an interactive, searchable video asset right in your LMS. When you do integrate with your LMS, many employees don't even know that they're watching a Panopto video, because with single sign-on and on the seamless nature of the integration, they just go straight there and they can see it. They have what they need, when they need it, wherever they are, and whatever device they're using. So we are located in stand 23, beside the next theater here. We can show you more about what we do. We can show you more about what our customers are using Panopto for. We would love to provide a more in-depth demo of what we do and how it can impact the learning and development experience for your employees by offering a demo down the road using Zoom or Teams. And also, if you're interested, we offer a free trial that you can create some content, share some content, get some feedback, do a test integration with your system so you can see how seamless the integration will work. And yeah, I mean, I hope this very short presentation was somewhat helpful. And if anybody has any questions, I'd be very happy, or any comments on what you're doing in your organizations with the hybrid nature of the workforce, be very keen to hear about them. Any questions or comments?
So just thinking around, I think in step 3 you mentioned about having a video library, basically. How would you encourage employees to go and actually use that? Because from what I've seen, that's one of the hurdles, that the video library is there, the calls are recorded, the meetings are recorded. It's just that either employees aren't aware or they keep forgetting about it and it's not really used effectively. So in your experience, do you have anything in terms of measures to encourage employees to use the video bank?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And what we're finding is that organizations that we're working with are encouraging their employees to download the mobile app on their phone. And we have a system that allows you to show the most recent content that's been shared with you at the top of the list. So you open up the app and you'll see what's new. If you're trying to encourage employees to access content on a regular basis, you need to have really engaging, interesting, useful content. Or messaging. So it might not be just training that you're creating. It might be that there's a message from the CEO. There's a latest update on how the company's doing, or a high five on how one department has done very well in particular. So if you get into the habit of creating content that's interesting to employees, they will go there, see what's new, and then when the next session, which may not be so interesting, but it's very important, a compliance video, for example, they will see that also. So yeah, the mobile app is really key to this. Most people are engaging with content on their mobile devices, and I would say that's the best way to do it. Mix it up with really interesting content from leadership so that it's engaging. Yeah, great question. Does anybody else have a question? Yeah, here we go.
Thank you. You mentioned the effectiveness of video learning for students' achievement or learners' achievement. How can we make sure that students, for example, with visual impairments aren't going to be left behind?
Yeah, sorry, that's a great question. And accessibility, there's many different versions of people that have needs in relation to accessibility. So we've and it's another reason for using a platform like ours instead of sending maybe an MP4 video. We've put a lot of effort into the technology that allows us to work with screen readers, for example. We have captions on the video, which is not great for people with visual impairments, but for people with audio impairments. And the captions are automatic, so you can just click a button, or have the setting such that the captions will automatically appear with a very easy-to-use editor that allows you to fix them if they're a little bit off. But actually, increasingly, the caption quality is more than 90%, 95%. And then, not only that, you can actually translate the captions also with a click of a button into German or French or any other language. It's very, very useful. But going back to the question about accessibility, that's actually one of the really key reasons why using a platform like ours or using video is really important. Because yes, the content needs to be accessible for people with a variety of different specific needs. And we have tested it thoroughly. We have developed a third party. Every year we consult with a third party to do a VPAT, which is something that tells us how accessible our product is and what changes we need to do to make it to keep up with the latest technologies that are out there. Because if we're not accessible to our users, then we're not going to be able to be successful as a company. And actually, in the private sector, I'm sure it's important, but in the public sector, such as universities, it's they take it very seriously. There's a legal requirement, and so we're evaluated every year by our customers in the university sector on how accessible our product is, and we put a lot of effort into it. Not only in, we don't think of it after the fact, we think of it in the design of the product. So I hope that answers your question. Thanks.
So what is the integration path between, say, Teams or Zoom and Panopto? Does Panopto supersede those platforms? So if I have a Teams meeting and video it, how does that get into Panopto, or do I have to use Panopto instead of Teams?
That's a great question, and Teams is becoming ever more popular. Microsoft worked with Panopto last year to develop a Teams integration. We sit inside Teams on the menu. Currently, Microsoft have a thing called Stream. So if you hit record on Teams, it'll go to Stream, so you do have the recording. Stream is a repository. It's a simple repository. It's a place where you can put video. The reason why Microsoft worked with Panopto is because they know that Panopto as a video platform not to cheapen it, but has more bells and whistles. We have lots more features than what Stream has. So a lot of our customers wanted to use Teams as the meeting platform, but they wanted to also to be able to take advantage of our automatic translations of captioning and the easy-to-use editor. And they wanted to be able to share video within Teams at the click of a button from the Panopto solution. So whilst you can hit record on Teams if you're not a Panopto customer, it will be restored somewhere. If you have the integration with Panopto, what happens is when you hit record, Panopto automatically ingests it, uploads it, and it turns into a Panopto video. It becomes accessible. It gets indexed for search purposes. It becomes part of the video library along with any other content you've created in any other way, because increasingly content is being created in a variety of ways, not just with Teams recording. And the power of video is when you have it all in the one place. There's a reason why libraries exist. The books are all there. You know where they are. You know who's reading them. You know who's checking them out. And you can control them more. And it's the same with video. So if you've got video in different places, coming from Teams, coming from Zoom, coming from the phones of your subject matter experts, if it all goes into the one place and it's securely shared for your employees, then you've got more power and it's a more valuable asset. So I hope that answered your question. But the Teams integration, we're really excited about it because Microsoft spent a lot of money with us to develop that. And it's nice to see our logo sitting on the sidebar of the Teams product. So.
Two questions. One, how do you feel you compete with Camtasia?
It's a great question. We don't compete with Camtasia. Camtasia is a great product. One of the problems with Camtasia is that you need to be an expert. You need to know what you're doing. It's not easy to use, right? We have an editor which is not as good as Camtasia's, but it's easy to use. It does 90% of what you want. If you want to use Camtasia to do some interesting and clever editing, we recommend it because, again, like many of the companies in this space, we work with them. You can now create a video in Camtasia and push it to Panopto from Camtasia. So we integrate with them because we realize that we're never going to be as good as Camtasia for editing, but we don't want to, stop you from using Camtasia. So with Camtasia, we developed integration. Make your video, edit it, make it more engaging, interactive, and then hit push to Panopto. It'll end up in the Panopto video library. So we want content in Panopto, no matter where it comes from. Teams, Camtasia, Zoom, WebEx, anyway, you can upload existing content anyway at all. But Camtasia is a great question because we love Camtasia, and we work with them for ingesting content into Panopto. Yeah.
Second question, if our videos are sitting in Panopto on the side of Teams, how do we track that then within our LMS? How can we track usage and uptake of the videos if it's sitting in Teams within our LMS? Is there an integration?
So if you've recorded a video from Teams and you've got Panopto and you've integrated with Panopto, the content can also be integrated with your LMS. It depends on what LMS it is, but generally speaking, we have an open API, so we can definitely get it into the LMS. So the content is being viewed in the LMS, but the analytics are being created by Panopto. So you'll have across-the-board analytics of all videos, no matter where they're being viewed from. But if they're in the LMS, yes, you'll get analytics. You can also, if you want to use the SCORM manifest, you can download the SCORM manifest and put it in a learning track in your LMS, so that you've got additional level of control over when and how they watch the video. Yeah.
Is there a mechanism for importing or ingesting existing content that you might have on other hosting systems or providers into Panopto?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, you can easily ad hoc upload 1 or 20 or 50 videos, no problem. But we also have migration tools and services. So if you've got 5,000 videos in another solution, we have a universal capture specification tool that allows our tech people to talk to your tech people and get the content in the right format so that we can ingest not only the content but also the metadata around that into the platform for a seamless migration. It's a very important question if you're moving from one system to another, for example. Yeah. Do we have any other questions or comments? So, oh yes, we have one more here, Hooligan.
Thank you. Just a quick one. What further developments do you have in the pipeline for Panopto?
That's a great question. I mean, we offer 2 major upgrades per year. We have lots of smaller ones during the year, but we improve our product all the time. I've been with Panopto for over 8 years now, and we're in the same space, but the product is so much better now than it was. Every year I get excited about the new features that come out. The translation of the captions, for example, is a fairly new one. We are working to improve our editor. We want to be able to add overlays on top of the editor, so you can put in speech bubbles or arrows. We want to be able to add the ability for a hotspot, so that'll bring you to another place if you're looking at a video. So the editor is a big part of it. We're looking at other technical things such as encryption keys to allow our customers to hold the encryption keys for the content for security purposes. I know that's not exactly very sexy, but it's important to some organizations. We're always trying to make the product easy to use. We're always trying to make it is easy to use, it is intuitive, but we're always trying to make it sort of seamless when it gets launched, that there's no barriers for it to being used. So we're hiring more people in the UX team to make sure that the product is easy to use, but also that the look and feel of the product is enhanced as well. And actually, another big thing we're working on is the ability for customers to choose the look and feel of the product for themselves. So we do have branding possibilities right now, but we want you to be able to sort of make it look exactly like your company kind of site, not like a Panopto site. And that one customer site will look different to another customer site. So that's a big part of what we're doing. So, yeah. But stay tuned. There's lots of things happening. I think I'm nearly at time here. But listen, I hope you enjoyed this. I know I'm not the best presenter, and I wasn't very free-flowing in my talk, but I really enjoyed the second half, especially of the questions and answers. And I really would love to have anybody who's interested further come and talk to us at the stand 23, and we can show you some of what I've talked about and scan your badge and maybe send you an email and organize a demo down the road. But thanks very much for staying with me, and enjoy the rest of the time at the event. Thank you.